building, world
And
building.
we are live. This is the 9th and sadly our final SPFBO 9 finalist, unless Morgan wants to shock the world. But we are thrilled to have Jacquelyn Hagen here today. She is the author of The Wickwire Watch. And Jacquelyn, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me. How are you doing?
Well, we found out you're a fellow Virginian now, so we're thrilled.
Yeah,
3
great.
Virginians and one screen.
I have questions about your drivers here, but apart from that, it's a lovely.
Oh,
They don't use blinkers.
They don't do anything. There's
they don't leave the left lane.
They're all of the suck.
Yeah. Tailgating is the rule. Yeah.
Yeah.
And apart from being a Virginian, I feel obligated to say that you are also a Zoomie. Go Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
Hurrah. So you managed to pull that job off while still writing at the same time.
Yes.
And that can't be easy. I mean, I guess it's nice because you don't really have PT to worry about. So
I do.
I know, but for the Army folks out there, I figured I would self-immolate here, you know.
Okay.
I was, you know, they're doing it out there.
Oh, yeah. Ours is self-paced, so very much. Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever I meet those folks, I always say, you had a choice. You chose poorly.
Yeah.
So, Jacquelyn, first question for you. I know that you have 3 books out in the series.
Yes.
How many books is going to be in the series?
So like you, it started out as a trilogy, and then I was into the 4th book, and then I thought, oh no, what have I done? Stop, come back. And it was too late, and now it is planned for probably 7.
Nice.
Yes.
But you've published 3 in kind of rapid succession, yes?
Yes, I did, because I spent 13 years working on them before I decided to publish.
Okay. Well, then that will do it.
Yeah.
Your book, The Riverfall Chronicles.
Yes.
Who did the art for that?
That is Stuart Bash or Bache, Basche. He's a British cover designer.
Did you give him a picture of you before you did it? Because the person on the cover has a little bit of a resemblance to you.
There's no person on the cover. There's a big watch.
I'm looking at your website. What am I looking at?
Oh, that's a character art. It's not on the book.
Oh, okay.
So that was done by an artist I hired through Fiverr, I think, but on the website. Oh, that's very flattering. Thank you. No, I did not give him a picture of me, but that's very kind of you to say.
And they're starting early. They're rescuing us. They're actually asking questions so we don't have to. And our favorite Canadian wants to know, what made you hold off publishing that first book? Because apparently it's fantastic.
Oh, that's nice to say too. Thank you. So before I answer that, though, I am curious, how many of the finalist books have you guys read?
So
you don't read?
Sorry, no, I do. I just don't read a lot.
Sure.
Oh, sorry. First of all, I have to say I'm in trouble. But anyway, Anita's here.
Mike has most of them.
I have all of them behind me. I've read, let me see. I've read The Falls All There Is. I've read 2/3 of The Last Ranger, and I just kind of, squirrel and walked away.
Okay.
I have Ed's book I'm reading now at night, so that is not actually behind me.
Okay.
I've heard so much about yours. I've kind of skimmed it, but I haven't dove in yet. And yeah, that would be all. I plan on getting to them, but
sure.
I am very much an audiobook person, so I'd like to go that route if I can.
Yeah.
And Canadian love there for Anita. That's good. She's talking to Tim. She's not yelling at me.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. But to go back to Tim's question, what made me hold off on publishing? So my intent was not to get into a writing career. Actually, I graduated from basic training and 2009 and in February 2009, and I was focused on my military training at that time. I thought, this is my future career. I have to focus on my education. This is my life now. And all of a sudden I got this idea for a story, and I'd been involved in stories my whole life. And I went to film school, and I'd been in plays in high school and things like that. But I set that aside for a military career, but it eventually quickly seeped its way back into my life. So it was something I just did for fun. It was just a hobby. And then eventually 5-6 years has passed, and I've got 2 books, and my friends and family are encouraging me to try to get traditionally published. So I did try to go that route. I sent queries out to literary agents, maybe a couple dozen, and I got a few bites from agents asking for the manuscript. I'd say about 3 at least, but it never really went anywhere from there, because I mean, you have to be very right time, right place for the market. And after a while, I thought, I don't know if it's worth this heartache and rejection, and I'm really good with just doing it for fun. So I continue on, book 3, book 4, and before I know it, 13 years have passed. And then I had a friend say, you need to look into indie publishing. And long story short, here I am.
It's awesome. So I've heard your book is called as Dickens-esque. Would you say that's true?
Dickensian, yeah.
Like Charles. Nice.
Yeah. I'm not an English major. I barely know the language.
I'm missing all these comments. Dickensian. So it is very much heavily based on Oliver. I mean, the world is based on Oliver Twist, and my main character, Ink, is heavily based on the Artful Dodger. So very much styled after that vibe.
I also heard it's like Howl's Moving Castle. Wow. There's an interesting dynamic, I guess.
Oh, great, Anita. That's exciting.
And the good news is Anita apparently doesn't read any books on her own. She only does buddy reads, so there has to be at least one more.
Ooh, that's awesome. Yes, the audiobook. I do have an audiobook, and my narrator, Wayne Farrell, is superb. I do not deserve him.
Oh, there's the one who can shock the world.
Morgan has a message for you guys. He told me to tell you that he just got the Lego Medieval Town Square set. He wanted me to make sure I tell you.
You bastard. Let's not get into Legos.
Yep.
And Katie? Oh, it's hard keeping up with just the comments.
I know.
You don't talk. I'll just comment.
So 13 years. Why didn't you do it sooner?
Well, after deciding I was kind of done beating my head against the wall with trad publishing, I didn't ever consider indie as an alternative, because I had a bias against it. I as many people still do, I thought at the time, oh, indie's not real writing. That's cheating. That's not the same quality. I don't want to do that. And I had that mindset. But my friend encouraged me. He said, no, it's changed. It's a whole thing now. Indie books have every bit of a chance competing against trad books these days. I mean, my cover designer, he's done covers for Stephen King and the Tolkien estate. And I have a professional editor, and like there's everything at your disposal now. You can hire professional level everybody to do things for your book. I mean, you just have to do the slightly difficult work of actually writing the thing. But
yeah, so great, by the way.
What's that?
Your cover designer is great.
Oh, thank you. I think so too. I love those.
Your web designer is very good too.
That's me.
You could make extra money there.
Oh, I obsess over it. I have to finagle every little tiny detail about it.
Most people I know hate making web pages.
Oh, I enjoy it.
That's sick. So when you were trying to go trad, did you just have the one book or like a part of a book?
Yeah, I had the whole first book finished. It was It was an earlier draft. Like it went through many more drafts after that.
Sure.
And the point it is now. But yes, I had a whole first one.
And what kind of feedback did you get from them if they sent you anything at all?
Nothing. Just this is not time. This is not the right project for us at this time. Thank you.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
useful for you.
Exactly. But they can't respond to everyone. But I was at least thrilled that it got, it survived the slush pile for at least a few days or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, how long did it take before they got back to you, I guess, is the better question.
Oh, I think it was 5 or 6 months. It was a while.
As I understand it, that's pretty quick, though.
Is it? Oh.
I've heard people waiting much longer than that.
Well, this was about 2015-16. I don't know if that makes a difference. But
Oh,
have you tried to go that route, either one of you?
no.
I sent out 3 query letters, and I was like, "This is exhausting. I'll
Yeah,
just
it
do it myself." So, but we have another question because our viewers are saving us.
What inspired the story? I had 2 very, very vivid dreams, very close to one another. I just woke up on a Saturday morning in my little tiny cot in my barracks room, and I had this very clear image of this woman standing in a forest, snowy forest, wearing this beautiful cloak, and she was looking at somebody, and I couldn't see who she was looking at, but the emotion in the scene was so powerful, and I could not get it out of my head when I woke up. I was like, that was such a weird dream. I don't have super vivid dreams like that ever, but I tried to put it out of my head, and then just a couple days later, there was a kid, my main character, in an oversized hat and coat, standing right there looking like he had something he wanted to tell me, and it was kind of urgent. And the images would not leave me alone. I tried to push them aside, dismiss them, but they had a story to tell, and they were not going to go away until I told it.
That is really cool, actually. I would love for that to happen.
Yeah, I wish I knew the secret formula to making yourself dream vividly. I mean, short of, illegal substances.
I saw somebody wrote in the comments that your character's name Wickwire Featherfield.
Inkwell, yes.
Inkwell Featherfield. Okay, so 2 things. First, I think that's a killer name. I love that, right? But I also know that if I was sitting here writing it, I would go, is that a little too on the nose? I would second guess the hell out of myself and never use that name. But when I read it in somebody else's book, I really, really like it.
So he goes by Ink for short. So most of the book you're reading in the name Ink. And also it's an alias. It is not his real name. So I think that kind of helps the second guessing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote something about a newspaper here.
Oh, man.
Your newsletter / newspaper. What's the deal with that?
So one of the characters early on in the story is a newspaperman. He runs a newspaper and he's a journalist. And one of the cookies or the extras you get if you sign up for my newsletter is you get an actual, I think it's like 10 pages of a copy of his newspaper. And there's like stories in it that relate to the world and recipes and other information. Actually, it was my sister's idea. I have to give my sister the credit. She came up with it, but I designed that, and I don't know. It's kind of a fun little thing I give out.
Are you still doing everything yourself?
I think I am.
Making your sister do that newspaper?
Oh, I've never known her to be a graphic design aficionado, so she just suggested the idea. But you're right. So. I should put my sisters to work more often.
Like, if I'm going to be a success, I need a crew. That's you.
But then they want to get paid, all that kind of stuff.
So how'd you find out about SPFBO?
I was researching different methods for marketing, and among the methods was entering your book into contests. So that's what I did. I looked up, some of the most prominent contests for indies and applied for those, and SPFBO seemed to be the biggest one. So of course I was there. I think it was 5 a.m. or something. Everyone has told their version of the story, but I was there, in my jammies, just waiting for the clock to tick over. And then, yeah, Mike, you said you were 15th in line. I don't even know what number I was, but
I was in under a minute. I submitted and I was 15th.
Yeah, it's
And I
crazy.
was like, wow, good
Yeah.
luck next year.
So I guess they chucked him out as they brought him in then? Is that what you're saying?
When I did it, it said, you're 15th or something. I was like, really? I mean, like 30 some odd seconds, and I had submitted. And no, I was not. I mean, for as old as I am, I was very happy to get it done that fast. I was not, wait over here. Let's click on, So I was prepared.
So how did you feel, Jacquelyn, when you were told that you were a finalist and you're now one of 10? You are in the you were in the tent in the Great British Bake Off. You're there.
Right. That was a interesting day because I knew it was coming because my judge Esme Weatherwax was she said when she was going to announce it. So I knew the day, I knew the time. I work in a building where I'm not allowed to bring my cell phone and we cannot access social media and kind of sort of cut off from the outside world in some ways. So I had to sit there for 8 hours just like biting my fingernails and just wondering like what is going on out there. Oh my gosh, it was awful. And so as soon as the clock hit, I ran out to my car and checked my phone. And the first thing I saw was my youngest sister. She sent me a meme of Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec just smiling. And she said, Jackie, that's all she said. And it's this smiling meme. And I knew right away. So that's how I got the information, was from Ron Swanson. And it felt amazing, surreal, and still to some extent surreal, but it was nice.
Well, if you've got to get information, that there's hardly a better person to get it from, really.
That's right.
So do your coworkers know about this?
Yeah, they do. One of them has read the book and really enjoyed it. We actually went on to read the rest of the series so far. Yeah, they're very supportive.
Are they going to do something ridiculous if you win?
I don't know. I might bring in like donuts or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
They will.
I don't like a big fuss made over me. When it was my birthday, I kind of just kept my head down and ducked out, and they were upset with me that I didn't tell them it was my birthday, and
Yeah, but everybody has a birthday.
Right. But
and
they want
only one person wins SPFBO.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's special. Yeah.
So the recipes that you had in your newspaper, did you share that with the Secret Squirrel group?
Oh, no, but I should. They're real recipes. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you, I don't get involved in the food texts. I think I sent one food-related text, which was a picture of a box of Girl Scout cookies because we were talking about Girl Scout cookies, but that was the extent of my involvement.
Okay. So I won't bring up anything as controversial as we had yesterday with Maddie, but is it just me, or are Girl Scout cookies really overrated? I mean, I think they're just living on past glory now because they're not that good.
It depends on what you compare them against, I think. I mean, nothing's going to beat homemade or professionally baked, but I don't know, compare them to a regular Chips Ahoy. I think they're better, right?
Well, Chips Ahoy are gross, though. That's like
right, exactly. Yeah. So they're marginally better than other brands.
They are marginally better than a store-bought cookie, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. Is Keith a coworker? And he says yes.
Keith, you made it. Welcome. Yes, he is.
Okay, and Katie is pouring all Connor on you and share the recipes in all caps.
You'll have to remind me, Katie, in the chat, and I will share them. They're both cakes, incidentally, because I like cake, so I hope you want cake.
And El Montague is trolling us, I think.
Yeah, well, nothing striving there. But he does have a good point if you take out the back half of it. Has all of the newfound notoriety helped you?
It has. Yes.
And has it been more than you expected it would be when you joined?
Yes.
When you signed up?
I have been very fortunate. I've had a lot of gracious and kind people highlight my book to the point where I almost think at this point people are sick of hearing about it and seeing it. Almost I am as well. But yeah, so and SPFBO was the catalyst for that. So I was very fortunate. Have been.
So
how many times have you done things like this?
I think this is For a live chat, I think this is my 5th or 6th one.
Okay, that's not too bad then.
Yeah.
I saw you when you were on Tori's channel.
Oh yeah, that was great. That was my first one.
I just have to say, Ro, you have done it. You've upset one of our guests yet again. The streak continues.
Well, you know what they have on the spaceship Voyager? They have Girl Scout cookies.
Did you say Voyager?
Yesterday, our guest last night said that Star Trek Voyager was her favorite of the Treks. And that devolved us. What? You like Voyager as well?
Yes, I grew up with Voyager. I love Voyager. Janeway's my favorite.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's because you grew up with it, right?
I've seen the other ones too. I appreciate the other ones. I do.
Okay.
Well, Morgan is with you.
Thank you, Morgan.
And
Morgan will give you all the time you want to talk about Voyager. All you have to do is come on the show.
I think, have you guys considered like doing a written interview with him? Because he might be down for that.
Morgan?
Yeah.
That is not a bad idea.
But the thing is, though, Jacquelyn, that when we started this channel, we were doing we would interview people and record it and then cut it up and edit it and put it out. And then we said, let's try doing it live. It might be less work because Mike and I are all about the less work.
Sure.
And to do a written interview, that just sounds like actual work.
It is a little more. But you could finish your bingo card and get all 10 finalists that way. Isn't that worth it?
And Ro, Voyager is very popular among the finalists, apparently.
Oh, perfect. This is something else we can nerd about in our chat.
Damn millennials. Damn millennials in their Voyager. Oh, my God.
I'll tell you, my favorite Star Trek movie is The Voyage Home all day long. Oh, I lost points with that too? Come on.
Is that the one with the whale?
Yes, it's hysterical.
Hysterical in a this is getting really sad now. I feel bad for them kind of way.
The best line is, where are your nuclear vessels?
Yep.
Nuclear vessels. Deep Space Nine is excellent, Morgan. After series,
I did like that
3 or 4, but we won't get into all that again. So, okay.
So
yes, we are. Are we the only ones who have everybody?
Yes, you are.
Wow, Mike, I think we need like a new thing on our
yeah,
page.
we need to put SPFBO finalists and then in small font, interviewers.
Exclusive. Yeah.
We've had them all again, asterisks.
Morgan has the power to change that.
So what are you working on now, Jacquelyn?
I'm working on book 4 of the series. It's finished. I'm just going through another edit before it goes to my editor. It should be out this summer.
And you just do one at a time? You're not one of those people that work on like 2 or 3 different books at a time?
Nope. Couldn't manage that.
And you said this was going to be how many books?
Probably 7, 6 or 7. No more than 7.
And then what's next? You must have you had another dream since then that you're preparing for your next series?
That would be so helpful. I have had some other ideas. I'm eyeing possibly a fantasy Western, actually. Yeah, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, Ava, you don't need to leave.
Thank you.
I won't bag on Voyager anymore.
Just to come on here and talk about Voyager.
So, Jacquelyn, I do have to say that you hit the all-time high for us. We are at 15 people viewing all at one time.
No way.
For this, yes.
For like 30 seconds?
Yeah, well, hey. We have 15 simultaneous viewers.
That's right. That is true. That is this is almost, we're getting up to episode 60, pretty close to it, and that was that's the high point. So you are the high water mark.
Just so far. But actually, I have some questions for you guys. Would you indulge me?
Sure.
Please.
Okay, I'm going to start with you, Mike. So you entered your book into SPFBO. You had SPFBO experience personally. You have been reading some of the finalist books. You have
Yep.
been interviewing the finalists. So what have you learned from your personal SPFBO experience?
Don't be in the same group with Katie.
Fair.
SPFBO, I tell people, it's like, look, I won with SPFBO because I was a hermit, and I saw people going, oh my God, Twitter is alive with people. I'm like, oh, fine, I'll join Twitter. And Ro asked me about every week, how many followers do you have now, Mike? And I'm getting close to 1,500.
I saw that. That's amazing.
So, and I normally I get rid of all the bots. So those are like real people, not 600 bots. So, I mean, yeah, I think that it's been phenomenal just for me to network with other authors, which I was always like, I don't have time for them. I'm writing my own book. And then now I'm like, oh my God, how did I do this all by myself? And why would you want to?
Right.
So I think it's been phenomenal. I have a sci-fi book I'm going to publish this summer, and I'm going to try SPFBO if I can get into it. So we'll see.
Okay, excellent.
I wasn't laughing at your sci-fi book. I was laughing at El Montague's comment there. Sorry.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it's starting to go downhill.
So how did you get 1,500 Twitter followers? That's amazing.
Well, before I did SPFBO, I'd sent my books to several booktubers. That's the word, booktubers. So I, had heard that, and they were talking about SPFBO, and so I followed them, and then I don't like doing the. No, Katie's going to be working on the Lit RPG is her next project. That's what we've decided.
Okay, so you're safe.
Yeah, but I don't know. I started following people. I didn't do the whole writer's lift. Follow me, I'll follow you, because I'm like, why?
Right.
So I don't know. If I saw something I liked, I'm like, yeah, I'll follow you. And I don't know. It sort of blew up. I don't know how.
That's awesome.
Charisma, Mike. It's all charisma.
Yeah.
So, Ro, what have you learned doing all of these interviews on your channel?
I learned I should probably be more like Mike.
Oh,
We have this
I
forever.
got out Twitter when Elon took it over. I said I'd been toying with getting off Twitter anyway, and that just seemed like a really good point to go.
did you go somewhere else?
I'm not a big social media guy anyway.
Okay.
I'm not anti-people.
Really?
Yeah. No, I mean, I like people, but I'm from New England, right? So in New Englanders are famously adept at living next to someone for 20 years and rarely ever speaking to them.
Oh, sure. Okay.
But no, I think I learned that, you got to get out there a little bit more. And I've thrown my name into a contest that's coming up. And I've been told that, yes, you're going to be in it because, you paid your 20 quid. So I'm just waiting for them to actually put the book out on Twitter.
Which contest is that?
The book blog novel of the year.
Oh, BBNY. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, good luck.
Yeah, well, I'm not too concerned about it.
That's what we all tell ourselves, Ro. That's what we all tell ourselves.
So you don't know what's coming up next. Do you know where your whole series is going? I mean, if you've got 6 or 7 books kind of in your head plotted out, and I guess it begs the question too, do you actually have it all plotted out, or is it just kind of vaguely floating around in your head?
I have big general plot points. Well, I suppose I should say they go from specific to general the farther you get out, and it's just a matter of kind of filling in the gaps. But I have a sense of where it's going and how it will end. Yes.
Okay, so you're not one of those people that writes 10,000, 20,000 words of outline.
I do take a whole ton of notes. I do outline extensively, but I allow room for pantsing or discovery writing.
Okay.
Yes.
Who was the guy we had on a couple weeks ago, Mike, who wrote like 400,000 word books that he turned into 150,000 word books?
Connor, C.M.
Okay.
Kaplan, yes.
Yeah.
Who just gave me nightmares the way he writes. Oh my goodness.
That would make me insane. I'd be able to do that.
So, Jackie, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you put people that you know in your book, and do you kill them?
I take attributes from people I know, for sure. Sometimes some more heavily than others. I don't think I based a whole person off of someone I know, but definitely attributes. Like, for example, if I need a slimy politician, no offense, Ro, I know a couple of, like lieutenants and captains I can draw from to kind of fill in those.
Oh, they're all bastards.
Things like that.
But a lieutenant would thank you for it. They wouldn't know the difference.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Bless their hearts.
You are really getting right into Virginia already, aren't you? Bless their hearts.
So Jackie, I will tell you that I told my coworkers that, I was like, sure, I can put your name in the book. And then the one started arguing with me, like, no, I would never do that. You need to change. I was like, okay, new rules. You can be in the book, but you're going to die within a chapter. And there are so many people who are like, can I be in your book and can I die? How do I die? I'm like, I don't know what it is with people I work with. It makes me seem like I'm the normal one, and that's just scary. But yeah, so yeah, it's very cathartic when that one boss you always hated and you kick them out the airlock without a spacesuit. Oh, yeah, I love that scene.
Yeah, I can see how that would be very nice. I don't think I've killed anyone off who was very heavily drawn on someone I know, but I can see it happening in the future.
I'll try it. It's really fun.
I should.
And don't tell them you put them in the book. That way, if they say they read it, you'll be like, really? You didn't even mention your own death? Huh. Okay, now I know you're lying.
Exactly.
As Mike didn't make it to be a finalist in SPFBO, he's angling to be put in somebody's book who has been made a finalist in SPFBO. And that way he can kind of live on their coattails like that.
It'll happen for you, Mike. Just keep trying. It'll happen.
So I put 2 booktubers in the latest book I wrote. I put them in kind of like a Keystone Cop type of duo. And one of them knows about it and the other not so much. So it's interesting when the reviews come out, what they say.
Yeah.
But, oh, well.
Okay. So Katie has asked an interesting question. What's the worst writing advice you have?
The worst writing advice I have ever heard. I mean, I wouldn't. Or the one that I think it's misinterpreted the most often is write what you know. And I think when people hear write what you know, that mean they think, oh, so I have to keep my stories confined to my own personal small bubble and circles and experiences and can't step beyond those bounds. I think that's terrible writing advice if interpreted that way. I think that answers that question. Yeah.
It does. I always kind of wondered about that too when people say that, because what you know is so limiting.
Yeah. But if they mean, sorry, go ahead.
Especially when you're talking about, fiction and fantasy fiction. It's like, what the hell do I know about magic? Nothing. Right? Exactly. What do I know about sword fighting? Nothing.
It seems terrible. Yeah. Unless they mean write what you know as in use your experiences and what you learn from culture and your own reading and your own wisdom and knowledge. That's a better interpretation.
Right. And so having the job that you have,
yes,
you get to travel a fair bit.
Sometimes.
And
yes,
you get to see some places that a lot of people probably wouldn't get to see. Do you take that and kind of incorporate that into your world a little bit here and there?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. The Riverfall Chronicles would not, I don't know if it would even exist without my military career, but it certainly wouldn't be in the state it is in now without it. It's been invaluable for many reasons, not least of all my writing. Yes.
Yeah, it is interesting to see some of these different places and just kind of be able to walk around. You ever been to Turkey?
No, I haven't been there.
All right. Some really interesting, very old cities there.
Yeah.
That you can just kind of wander around, and anywhere else they would be, they'd have big signs up in a gift shop, and you wouldn't be able to go anywhere. These you just kind of just meander through it.
Yeah.
Super old, walled city fortification type stuff. And
yeah, I even love. Have you guys been to Colonial Williamsburg?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's an awesome place. Anything historical or like with a history and a backstory is just fascinating to wander around in.
EL's blocked. Sorry. I don't know what happens. We have hit half an hour, so I guess it was his time to get blocked. Maybe he'll come back on.
So it's the running joke. EL says that I block him as if I knew how to do that. But then he likes Voyager, so
Katie asked if you were in BBN. Mike, I'm going to leave you. My brother's calling me real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. So are you in BBNYA this year, or last year were you in it? Or
I did submit the book last year and got cut in the very first round.
Me too.
Yeah. See?
I am a quarter finalist since they just start with semifinal. Yeah, I'm a quarter finalist in all the competitions to get in.
That's a badge of honor.
Okay, Katie wants to know, what is your favorite historical time period?
Oh, it's definitely 19th century Victorian England. It's got everything. It's got the dark alleys and the mystery, but also the charm and the politics and the fashion and the way they speak the language of that time period. It's my favorite kind of book. What's that?
Coal smoke, plague,
chimney sweeps, poverty, all of that. No, it's very interesting with a lot of things to play with, and
the aesthetic of the Victorian era is very cool.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, not the drunk 6-year-olds,
right?
Working in the mines, but the more affluent aesthetic is very cool.
Yeah, and it was Industrial Revolution. It was just fascinating, convergence point of a lot of things.
And Wen has a fun question for you.
Well, you got to tell her what it is. Oh, there it is.
What is the weirdest thing you've had to research?
Weirdest thing.
So that's a nice way of saying what's your search history look like on your computer.
Well, I've definitely had to look up things that I would worry a FBI agent looking at. How long does it take to bleed out? That kind of stuff. Weirdest thing.
Katie, well done.
Maybe I don't know if it's super weird. The first thing I can think of is looking up the details of how a cow gets a respiratory infection. Yes. Okay, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah, that's why. Why would you possibly need to know that?
Because I had a chapter in book 4 with a sick cow. It's called the chapter is called One Sick Cow, and there are characters who are attending to the cow, and I needed details as to how the cow would act while having a respiratory infection.
Okay, and Katie has another great question.
I think any book you can cast with Muppets is an absolute winner.
Yep.
And I have to say, we're almost at the 40-minute mark, and we have not asked you about your secret chat yet. The group. So what is going on?
Is it getting tense as the days go by? Is it getting a little bit more? People are starting to get into their own camps a little more and get away from all the, oh no, you're going to win this, but get away from all that nonsense. And
it's getting more supportive and more, no, the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Are you disappointed by that?
No.
I will tell you that for the vast majority of this contest, that chat has mostly been the same 3, 4, 5 people talking, and the other half not really saying much.
Well, it's been all recipes from what
By
we
and
hear.
large, there's been lots of
Camp do
food.
you fall in?
And when's Axe?
I feel like I'm sort of in the middle, and it's not that we don't want to participate. Like I don't have my phone with me all day, and I just don't have the time, and I check it when I can. And I think that's the case of the other 5 who don't really say much. But I've noticed the last couple of days, like as things are kind of wrapping up, people are talking more. But that's been nice. Yeah, we're holding out for a 10-way tie.
Yep.
But I think it's pretty clear. We do have a front runner, a clear front runner, and I think the contest is already kind of set.
Honestly, though, God's honest truth. If they said it's a 10-way tie, wouldn't you be a little miffed?
No.
Really?
No, because this contest is great and absolutely horrible. And you have nothing but sympathy for your fellow wounded soldiers. And you all want to make it across the finish line together at the same time. It's like that scene in Two Runnings at the end.
I get that and everything, but you know, you can have a 9-way tie for second. How about that?
I don't know. Well, sure. It's not going to happen a 10-way tie, but that's just an indication of, our solidarity.
I think it is excellent. I think it's very indicative of the kind of the indie kind of grouping, really.
Yeah.
That whole kind of rising tide,
Yes.
mentality of the indie sphere. The fact that you all get along so well, and let's face it, when have you ever been in a group with 10 people and not had at least one just total asshole?
Yeah, I don't think ever. This is the first.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It's been nice. It's been nice to have each other to lean on and support each other, and I've definitely needed it. And yeah, I only realized today we only have 6 weeks left until this is over for us. So
6 weeks.
Yeah. So hey, Ro,
what?
EL is now texting me on Twitter because he's blocked, and he says yes, you would be miffed if someone didn't win.
Yes, thank you for speaking truth. Yeah, appreciate that. Once again, I lost my train of thought.
So I will say that when I talk to booktubers or other authors, they're always like, yeah, typical indie author. Let's talk about how great your book is. And you never want to say anything about your own. You're always talking about the other people in the group. And Morgan's book is awesome. Well, all your guys' books are great. But Katie's book is phenomenal. I mean, she trashed the whole group of us. So,
Oh, my goodness. Hi, David. He is another coworker from many years ago. Thanks for dropping by. He's a fellow author. Actually, I think he's going to be on your guys' show. Isn't that right?
Oh, I don't know. We'd love to have him.
David Allen Jones? Okay.
No, we're not proud or big.
Yeah. His name is David Allen Jones. Look him up. He's a great writer.
I will write that down.
I think part of it is when what Mike was just saying, when you start writing, a lot of people, you kind of finally kick yourself over the edge to start because you're reading something and you're going, I can write that, right? I mean, there's always that one book that kind of pushes you over the edge because you're like, I can do better than this.
Sure.
And so you do it, and then you write it and you're pretty happy with it, and then you start reading other people's stuff. But now, because you have that experience of writing it, you're a little bit more clued in as to what's going on with it, and you start realizing, wow, they're actually pretty good. And I guess that's where the whole imposter syndrome thing comes from.
Oh, yes.
Is now you're like, what is this dross that I just put out?
Yeah, I've read 8 out of the 10 finalists, and as soon as I picked up the first one, which was Wen's Master of the Void, I was like, oh, this is going to be close. I'm in trouble. And it just carried on like that from there.
And your group is surprisingly very tight. I mean, the scores. Yeah. It's crazy.
It is.
I have a question for you because there's some booktubers who are starting to write because they don't know any better and they think they want to be authors instead of just reading for fun. But and I've like asked them something, and they're like, "Oh, Mike, you've made it. You are so much higher than us. You know so much more than." And I'm like, "Do you get that since you've been a SPFBO finalist that everyone just is like the words of Jackie? We must listen and learn."
I've gotten it a little bit and grossly undeservedly, but yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very weird. I keep going. I am not any higher than you. I just published some books. It doesn't mean I'm better. Trust me.
Yep.
I can't get over the thought in my head that if the SPFBO finalists were all in the Hunger Games, it would be a very, very boring Hunger Games.
They don't have pillows.
We would go make cookies. We'd find the ingredients somewhere in the woods, build a fire, and bake.
Jackie, I make this pledge to you. If I should happen to win the lottery, I'm going to fly all 10 of you over to England, and I'm going to put you in the tent in the British Bake Off. You're all going to have to compete.
Ooh, I don't know.
If you win the lottery, we could just do it here, man.
Well, okay, yeah. I guess I could just fly them all to the U.S., but yeah.
Like I say, you might be disappointed. We just ignore the guns and yeah.
Katie. Games. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Eventually, it would be the Hangry Games.
Clayton would protect us.
So you all have your little roles within the group now, then? Is that it?
Roles. We know a lot more about each other than we used to.
So you know from going to NCO Academy and everything that in every group dynamic, there's going to be that one person who is going to push the group to, over that edge that kind of brings them together a little bit, right? Because everybody's all quiet and everything at first, and there's that one person that's going to make everybody talk and do something. Who was that?
Easy. That was Connor.
I was going to say he uses all caps.
Yep, that was part of it. Not only was he encouraging and supportive, he was encouraging and supportive in all caps. So it was like extra motivating. Yep, he was very encouraging, and I think he really brought us all together at the start. Yeah, we've been joking that we should get a Muppet version of him, and that will be our mascot.
Your spirit animal.
Yeah, apparently that's an expensive thing to do, but it is possible. So
at least a bobblehead.
Oh, sure, something.
I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
We do that a lot.
Yeah,
we're old.
You sure you want to be on the show, David? I don't know. The mascot, Becca bakes the food plate.
Is the enforcer.
What do you enforce?
Clayton used to be a bodyguard. That was one of his past jobs. I think he mentioned that on your show. I'm not sure. But yeah, so that's why we figured out he was the tallest of us all. So yeah, he's our protector.
That makes sense now.
Here we go. Katie had mentioned this before, and we didn't get to it.
Oh, I missed that one. So the mandolin came about because when I was 15, I fell fast and hard in love with a band called Nickel Creek. It consisted of a brother and a sister and another guy, violin, guitar, and mandolin. And I'd never seen anyone play the mandolin before. I didn't really identify it by ear. It was kind of this new thing to me. And the opportunity came up like a year later for me to take lessons, and I jumped at it, and I've been playing it ever since, and I love it.
You got it with you?
I do. It's back there. It's probably not tuned because the weather's been weird, but
we wouldn't know. Go grab it. Play us a tune.
Are you serious? Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Not like that.
See, warning for all of our future guests.
All right. This is great. See, people can't cook for us or anything like that, but
I gotta at least try to tune a little bit. I'll play something really quick.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Do you guys play anything?
No.
I can't play a radio.
The kazoo.
Kazoo is good. Oh man. It went to 80 degrees where I live today, and then tomorrow's going to be 60. So this is all out of whack. Come on, come on. Katie, I blame you for this. Okay. Can you hear that? Does it sound
yeah.
okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Sounds good.
Ooh, that's way up. I will do this, I promise. The weather really messes with stringed instruments. All right. This is called The Beggar Man. I'm going to play a very quick version.
Nice. So we have another request.
Highway to Heaven. You mean Highway to Hell? I don't know Highway to Heaven. I thought that was a TV show.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was.
It was Michael Landon.
Oh my God. Michael Landon reference.
Yeah.
You must have like older siblings.
Nope, I'm the oldest. I just lived in a house where we watched a lot of reruns.
Whew. Man. Even I kind of get taken back by that. Damn.
So now we know what SPFBO's private chat is going to be talking about.
Voyager. Just a tick row off. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm trying to talk my way out of this now.
It's not a perfect show. It definitely has huge faults, but it's also very enjoyable.
It does have a huge fault. It's named Janeway.
Oh boy.
So
other than
anyway,
that, you know, the ship looks cool. You know,
okay, I'm going to leap to a different topic.
I like the hologram doctor. That's a good idea.
So Ro and I have been talking, and since this has been so much fun with the SPFBO finalists, we think we're going to try to get the SPACEBO finalists as well.
Oh yeah.
And of all people, Connor is a semi-finalist in that, so we could end up talking to Connor again.
That's right.
And see if they also have a private chat.
Oh yeah.
So
hopefully they do. When did the finalists get announced for that one?
I keep checking. They don't keep the website updated all that well. So, okay. But the final is in August, so it's 3 months behind SPFBO basically. So
okay,
should be soon. They should be announcing it, and yeah.
I meant to point out that I chose to wear this shirt specifically in honor of Phase 2 of SPFBO. I don't know if you could see it. It's the Black Knight from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yep.
Come back home, gnaw your legs off. Monty Python is fine. That is perfection on celluloid.
Yep, agreed.
So are you guys going to get together, do you think, and say, you know what, we should have our own contest? And the 10 of you can create your own, like, SPFBO killer?
Oh, I don't know if that's doable. I will tell you, we have half-jokingly talked about having our own contest about our judges and the judges that are judging our books.
You're going to judge the judges?
Judge the judges. Oh.
You might want to wait till the results come out. But
yeah, exactly. And I didn't say that. I didn't say that in public. We love you, judges. We appreciate the work you do.
So what would I'm sure if you had this conversation, you talked a little bit about what the criteria would be? What you'd be judging them on?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And now that you mention that, the biggest one, and we talked about this very passionately a couple days ago, is a willingness to read things that are out of your comfort zone and to be open to them. I think a lot of our books have elements that push people out of their comfort zones or take them right up to the edge of it. Most of our books, if not all of them. And all of us have experienced, whether it's a judge or a reader, an understandable reluctance to be pushed. And that's fine when you're reading for pleasure, I think. But I don't know. Personally, if I was a judge in a contest, I would think you would want to approach. And I will say some of the judges have done a great job of this and have addressed this subject directly, of being more open-minded and trying to understand, even if it's not a genre they vibe with or they usually reach for, they can still appreciate things about it or appreciate why other people enjoy it. That's excellent way to go about it. But I would love to see more of that.
So
yeah, I think when you're judging writing like that, and I used to judge a lot of like the Air Force media contest and things like that, you shouldn't be reading it for the content so much, right? Whether or not you like the story, you should be reading it how it's written, right?
Yes.
How well it's put together, and if they've checked the boxes to do the things they need to do technically.
I will call out in a positive light, Philip Chase just recently, I think it was last week, that he put out a review of my book, and he actually said that he went into it with the mindset of, this is the first book in a series. It's not going to answer all the questions I want to know. It's not going to have a definitive ending. It's not going to have full character arcs. It's the first book in a series. And we all really appreciated that.
And more to the point with that, it's your first book, right?
It's that too. Yeah.
No, but I mean, yeah, it was your first book.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So you would think it will be your worst book, right? Because you will get better as you go.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when they pick up a book, especially with a new author or an indie author, they kind of go, oh, yeah, I don't like this. And they'll never go back to that person again, which is really too bad for them.
Yeah.
Because with anything else, you're going to get better at something the more you do it.
Yeah.
So
if it's really bad when you start, you just have more room to grow.
That's right.
So I will say, when I was looking at SPFBO, they have a thing that I actually think is a great idea. Is they have, for the judges, you can put just "not for me," and instead of like giving it a 2-star because you didn't like it, you can just say, you know what, just not for me, and don't factor my score in. I think that's a great idea. I mean, if you just are totally bouncing off it, but it's not poorly written, I would like to see more like that.
Sure.
But I mean, it is a contest, so you've got to do a delineation somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you were a judge and you read something that was truly awful,
yeah,
I mean,
there's difference.
Maybe you don't make that in public, but maybe you send the author of that thing something and very nicely say, try hard, whatever it is.
And one thing that Mark Lawrence says on the SPFBO website is he lists out a few things about the actual contest itself, and one of which is, this contest is not perfect, and no contest is perfect. I mean, in the Air Force, you can't even, there's no perfect promotion system, right? We can't get anything perfect. and this, it's I mean, it's easy to be on this end of it and come up with ideas. And it'll be interesting if you can get Mark on your show, which I believe, I think he'd be more than willing to get on there and to see what he says about his whole thing. Because he's kind of an enigma, at least to me. This
is the guy who runs it.
Yes. And he promotes.
10 of you need to get together and say, hey, these two guys want to talk to you because they've talked to 90% of us.
Yes.
And,
yeah, we're going to come up with some questions for you.
Tell his side of the story, but he has to be ready to answer the question, are you going to fix the way that people can enter this so it's not over in 30 seconds?
That's a legitimate concern for sure.
So Morgan has a concern.
The dog. Finley, where are you going? This is Finley.
Oh, your dog's name is Finley?
Yep.
Our next door neighbor's dog is Finley.
Oh, really? What kind of dog is that?
It's a 4-legged one. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's a half border collie, half German shepherd, and she is leaving. Okay.
It's a chocolate lab, I think. We have cats. I'm not a
gotcha.
dog person generally, so.
Oh.
I will answer John's question. Don't put it up on the screen. It doesn't need to be on the screen. She's not in the Army, John. There are more branches than the Army. Thank you very much. She can pass a test. She is not in the Army. Her knuckles do not drag. Okay. Enough of
I
that.
just like my chairs a whole lot.
Okay, so
Some of the best chairs.
Jackie, you said you had questions for us, and then you grilled me, but Ro has got off scot-free. Do you have anything to?
A question.
I asked him what he learned from all of your interviews, and he said he learned he should be more like you. That was the big takeaway.
Oh yeah, I really should have listened.
No, I mean, I think the one thing I've learned is that we're all in the same boat, right? I mean, we all started this for one reason or another that was all very kind of similar. And we've all realized that, damn, this is hard.
Yep.
And the hardest part is not the writing of the book, you know? But I guess it depends what your goals are. You know, if your goal is to make rent, then it's a whole lot harder.
Yes.
And if your goal is just not to lose your ass, then it's not quite as bad.
So I have a question. Maybe it's just me.
It is.
When people are like, saying I'm writing, are you very supportive and like, there's no way I'm going to tell them that marketing is so much harder. I'm just not going to let them figure that out for themselves. Do you think in the back of your mind? Or do you actually tell them?
Only if they ask. I won't offer it freely and crush their dreams and hopes.
That would be a really horrible thing to do. Yeah. That would be like going up to a 4-year-old and saying Santa Claus isn't real, sucker. No, you don't want to do that. What would you tell Jackie, who was writing the first draft of the book one? Oh, that's a great question.
Oof. Oh, draft one. Draft one. Well, one of the things I would tell her is this might be your career after retirement, so you better keep up with it. Ideally, probably not though. And I tell her keep going, which sucks. And I've had to tell myself that many times, including draft one. Just keep going, because there's been so many times I've wanted to quit, and when no one was paying attention, it would have been easy and just do something else. But I'm miserable when I don't write. I'm miserable. I've tried it for months at a time, years maybe, but I'm very glad I stuck with it. But it is, like you say, it is very difficult sometimes.
Just think how happy you'll be when you finish that 10th book in this series.
Oh, don't put that voodoo on me, Mike. Oh my gosh. I got enough silver hair as it is.
You know, if you keep going, you'd be like Mike.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jacquelyn, thank you, and thank you for being a good sport about playing your instrument here.
Oh yeah, it wasn't cool tune, but thank you.
Everyone will show up in empty rooms with nothing but the 4 walls, and
That's right.
But nice comment.
Yeah.
And Morgan, you can shock the world.
I want to say on behalf of all of you who are SPFBO finalists right now, it has been really fun talking to you all over the last month and a half or whatever it's been. We've just started doing this. It's been less than a year, and Mike said, let's just get all the SPFBO finalists, and it's like, yeah, you do that, Mike. And it's been great, and it has been really interesting, and it is nice to see people who can actually get along with one another, coming around, kind of coalescing around a very particular thing, and finding out that because of that thing, we can actually be friends.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
So, and from all over the place too, right? I mean, it's not just from North America. You're
right.
Got that one cat down in New Zealand, right?
That's right. Ed. We're Ed on the other side of the world. Yeah.
You got America's hat up there, and
that's right. Well, thank you guys so much for having all of us on. It's like you guys mentioned, you are the only ones to do it. So now you have exclusive rights.
That's right.
And
sticker on our show, just like they do on the book.
And
need
for
a
those who
coin.
stayed, we talked before we came on that we're going to try to get Mark Lawrence on here, and I want to have SPFBO finalists come up with questions to grill Mark with. So
There you go.
you can
Yeah.
put your name on it, or you can just say Morgan asked the really hard ones if you want. That's fine too.
Do you have your SPFBO coin?
Oh, yeah.
You want
You
to
do.
see my SPFBO coin?
Mike has asked for a couple of times. I didn't know there was one, but have you
Oh,
taught everybody how to coin check yet?
no.
Oh, you totally need to do that.
This is the green. There's a green side and a blue side.
Which one is your favorite?
I go with blue, but they're
Okay.
both pretty. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Have you all made like plans to get together at like a 20 books or something?
Oh, we've talked about it kind of half jokingly. I don't think it would ever work with everyone's schedule and all of that, but it would be wonderful. Someday it could happen. Maybe we'll all just show up at somebody's house and surprise them. And
Okay.
yeah, so,
Everybody show up at Morgan's house. Okay, damn it.
yeah.
Oh, well, Jackie, is there anything we didn't ask you that we should have? Because we're pretty sketchy as interviewers.
No,
Talked about your book a little bit. I don't know.
no. People have heard enough about that, and they don't want to hear any more about that. It's old news. But
I think the whole idea of this isn't really so much to talk about the book, but to talk about the person who wrote the book. Let people kind of learn a little bit about the behind the curtain stuff.
I've definitely enjoyed learning things about my fellow finalists I wouldn't have probably found out unless they had been on your show. That's been great.
And if you ever talk to any of Connor's siblings, make sure you tell them to call him Boomer. Because
Call him
he's the oldest.
Okay. I think he's the youngest or second youngest in our group.
Well, he's the oldest of his 4 quadruplets.
Okay. So that makes him okay.
But oh well.
Right.
I think
Well,
it's
thank
time.
you, everybody.
Thank you for putting up with our shenanigans.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And now is the awkward wave until it finally goes off the screen.